All right, happy Sunday, everyone. Let's get straight into this Sunday sort of market pre-planning that we're doing for the upcoming trading week. So let's see how the markets are looking going into next week's weekly open. Well, gold has perfectly hit this supply POI. Boom. Like so. It's obviously quite bullish. I wouldn't really be looking at any sort of distributions on gold, just full stop. I'd still be keeping an eye on accumulations, but from what I'm seeing now, there's no real POI from an accumulation standpoint. Like all of these POIs have been mitigated. I think even this ever so slightly has. It has ever so slightly. We could maybe get a deeper mitigation, so we'll see if that does happen. Like the only thing I would look for in gold, which is extremely low time frame, is something like this. But then obviously the weekly open could go anywhere. So off this little minute 10-minute range, I think we're going to kind of exceed it, and the weekly open could be as deep as here, or we could pop up and open up like somewhere here. So you never really know. It's all this pre-planning is kind of pre-planning for ranges this small can go out the window quite quick as soon as the weekly open comes on Monday. So yeah, for now for gold, as I've said, I expect higher, at least until this high time frame supply POI up here. Yeah, other than that, not really a whole lot to do, but we expect higher. And there's no real demand here, as every POI has every move has been mitigated on the move on the leg up. Like you can see here, this would have been somewhat of a demand POI, but mitigation here, so not a valid demand POI. All right, we'll leave this as is, not a whole lot to do. We'll see how we'll see what price action delivers next week, or tomorrow technically. Silver's like same but different to gold. We've mitigated supply above here, and we have demand below. I would be looking for a retracement of demand and an accumulation as we hit this demand POI. That's the only thing that I'll be looking at for silver. But once again, the weekly open can be quite volatile. It tends to normally be quite volatile. So yeah, let's see what happens. It can go either or. But I am planning for accumulations here for silver. Similar to gold, we're just looking for accumulations. If there's no accumulations, I will not be looking for a distribution whatsoever. All right, oil. Okay, well, we are bearish on the we're just bearish on the hourly on oil. And obviously we're bearish on the 4. We've created demand, which has been mitigated. Is there any more refined demand? No, okay. So this isn't really valid demand anymore. The only thing that I'm not too much of a fan of is that we've not created supply in this move down either. That is the closest thing to supply we have. Right there. Yeah, I'm not really interested in this as a range anymore, to be honest. Yeah, for gold at the moment, to be completely honest, there's not a whole lot to do. Oh, for oil, sorry. For oil at the moment, to be completely honest, not a whole lot to do. We're just going to have to be patient and see how price bounces from these levels. That is it. Nothing more, nothing less. We'll leave this as is, and we'll see how, price moves next week. How's this for a boom? Still bearish, yeah. We're still bearish, but we're still slowly, ever so slightly moving up. You could, technically speaking, use this as a range. That is valid. Yeah, it's a valid range. It's not the cleanest, but it is a valid range pull. Do we have supply in here? I think we did, but it's been mitigated. Yes. Actually, this hasn't. Okay, this has. Boom. Like so. Yeah, we're still bearish, so not a whole lot more to do. Let's just see how we open from a weekly standpoint. And that is it, yeah. So yeah, it'll be an interesting open next week. GBP, JPY. Oh, we're now bullish on the hour. We're obviously going to be bullish on the 4. On the daily. Okay, we are still bearish on the daily. So the hourly and 4 hour are bullish. Can get rid of all this. And then yeah, I'm gonna get rid of. I'll leave the supply for now, but I'll leave it here just for it to show us that price is failing supply and it's looking to move higher. So we can expect price to go higher because of that. Okay, this is valid demand, valid supply. I will use this. Now, keep into consideration that we are still bullish on the 1 to the 4 hour, so we can expect to continue going higher, but I would like to think that upon mitigation of this supply POI here, we're going to expect some sort of pullbacks and rejections because it's quite deep of a POI. But for now, there's not really a whole lot that I'm too interested in doing. I don't want to label this as a it is a range, but I don't put that much significance on it just because of this big supply POI right above us. So I feel like price is gonna price isn't really gonna form a distribution here randomly. If it's gonna form a distribution, it'll form it upon mitigation of this supply POI. Hence why I'm not going to draw any sort of ranges. But yeah, this is a valid range, but I don't expect this to last. We're bullish. We're not in a POI yet, so there's no reason for us to reject just yet. All right. USD CHF, I've accidentally removed it. And this actually looks all right. No, I was mistaken it with another model I had looked at previously. Well, we've grabbed extreme liquidity and we still have extreme liquidity range high above us. Okay, we're obviously bearish on the 1 to the 4. We're not yet bearish on the daily. We're still bullish on the daily for now. Could we see a distribution here? Potentially. I will allow a distribution to happen here. But just based on how this candle is and how the open, I feel like the open's just going to complete this range, this incomplete range. So yeah, just an FYI on that one, but we will set our alerts. But yeah, from last time we've charted this, not much has changed. Euro NZD. Well, we are bearish on the hourly now. Probably still bearish on the 4. Yeah, still bearish on the 4. Bearish on the 1 as well. I do expect us to go lower here. Point being. But there's just no range to draw price action from just yet. From memory, the thing I didn't like about this was that there's no real clean POI. Because this wasn't really valid supply, and price was leaving behind quite a bit of buy side liquidity above, so there was reason for price to go higher, but it just never did, and it just respected that range deviation limit of around here. So yeah, I feel like price is going to continue going lower, and we can only just wait and see. Now there is demand here, but as I've said before, demand near the range low isn't the most effective, because price does like to chase range highs and range lows, so it can very much so disregard the demand low and just continue going for that range low. But nevertheless, we will chart it and we will see what happens. Okay, USD JPY. Still bearish, very much so. Not a whole lot. The only thing that might be of a valid range pull is this. It's all going to be very dependent on how the weekly open occurs. Yeah, other than that, we're just going to have to leave this as is and see how price occurs. Euro USD. We're very much so bullish on the hour as well. Are we still bearish on the daily? Let's double check. That is correct. We are bearish on the daily. Obviously, we've mitigated this supply, so we can pull that there like so. We have pushed through this supply, so initially respected it, then came back up. I don't see this as a range anymore. I just don't. The thing is, the return to zone up until like this point is actually quite good. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this open. A very manipulative move on New York, so you can expect this to this to play out. And technically speaking, I wouldn't advise it though, but you could place a limit sell there, and your TP's right there. As yeah, the daily is still bearish, and so is the higher time frame. So this is just this could just be a lower high for a continuation of a lower low, like so. And even here, like, there's no real demand, you know what I mean? All I'm doing is trying to see if my broker allows a limit sell on market Euro USD. $1.1555. No, it does not. That's fair enough. But yeah, if I was to trade this, I'd actually trade this something like this, setting a limit sell so that on market open it potentially just flushes down. But obviously I don't have the opportunity to do that, so I'm not going to do that. But otherwise for EURUSD, there's not a whole lot to do other than what I've just spoken about. Not really a whole lot to do. We're in supply. Yeah, we're in a great POI to come back down, to be completely honest. So let's see what happens there. Maybe we don't come back down. Maybe the open occurs up, and then maybe we form some sort of range here, which we can then take back down. Who knows? Only time will tell. This is actually a really, really nice range on GBP USD. I'm actually hoping that the opens up somewhere like here, and then we mitigate this demand, even accumulate if possible, and just slowly climb back up, fill this gap, sweep the extremes, and then move back down. So that is, yeah, plan for GBP USDs as is, and I'm actually going to move this up. Sweet. NZ CAD still bearish. Daily's obviously still bearish as well. Not a whole lot to do here. Just patiently waiting for the market open. So we will see what happens. Is this valid supply? We'll find out. I have a feeling it might not be, but I could be wrong. Okay, definitely not valid supply. All right, we will move on. The USD CAD. This range is completely invalid. That's our market structure high on the 4-hour, which has since then would have definitely changed since then. Well, as of now, we might even be bearish on the daily. Okay. Ooh. Not yet. Not yet. That is our daily low right there, which we're getting close to, nevertheless. We are very much getting close to. Daily low right there. I feel like we are going to go for that daily low because we are also leaving behind quite a bit of supply in the meantime. Got some overlapping supply here. And yeah, that's it for USD CAD, and let's just be patient. Expect us to go lower. Expect us to move towards that daily low, and we'll see what happens. We've pushed through all of this demand, so we're clearly disrespecting it. And yeah, that is USD CAD for now. Looking at AUD CAD, this could tell a different story. Well, we can already tell that we're still bullish on the hourly. I think we're bearish now on the... We were still bullish on the 4 hour. If I did say hourly, I apologize. But I think we're now bearish on the hourly. We had a market structure break there. Yeah, we are bearish on the hourly. Very much so. Could this be a new range? Yes. We're obviously bearish on the hourly, so just be mindful of that. Yeah, the open's going to be very important here. This tab did mitigate the demand. Doesn't look like there's going to be much extremes to grab. If anything, there'll probably be some extreme liquidity. Not so sure about extreme demand. Actually, we can use this as our POI. There's extreme demand. There's extreme liquidity. Although just keep in mind that we've obviously left behind quite a bit of supply as well in this move down. So I would prefer this supply to be mitigated first. Before any further moves. So yeah, let's see what happens. No, I will move AUD CAD towards the top. Let's have a look at GBP AUD. We're very much bearish on the hourly. There's our structure break there. And so far we are just bullish on the 4 hour as well. So just the hourly, which is bearish. Okay, we've mitigated supply there. Yeah, not really a whole lot to do here. Just waiting for some better price development. nothing I really like just yet. Yeah, we'll leave this as is. Euro GBP, we're in this range, which still has plenty of time to play out. Contextually speaking, we're still bearish on the hourly. And we are still bullish on the 4 and still bearish on the daily, I would assume. Yep. Yeah, so for now, I'm still favoring this distribution model, this higher time frame distribution model, and anything that happens in between I'm not too interested in, so I'm just going to leave this as is. Maybe we can catch some local scalps during the week, or even tomorrow or Tuesday. I'll allow that, but I do want to focus on this higher time frame range more. GBP and ZD. I feel like this is going to fail quite soon. Well, we're still bullish on the hourly. There's no structure here to break. I think I remember speaking about this. And we are still bearish on the 4. Still bullish on the daily as well. Same thing, no structure here. This is our daily low. Yeah, it's kind of like a neutral environment, I guess. I'm just gonna say let's wait for price to give us some better data. I'm not a fan of how this price action has developed so far. I do feel like we're gonna go lower with the liquidity that we've left below. That's my guess, but yeah, we'll see. We will see, but I do expect lower with this pair. And then AUD CHF. Similar story to an extent. We've got another range here that we're monitoring. And yeah, we're still bullish. We're still very much so bullish. Maybe we can accumulate here later on, but only time will tell. But yeah, that's it. That's it for today, guys. This is how we're going to plan for the upcoming week. And yeah, let's see what price, what opportunities the market presents us. All right, that's it. Enjoy the rest of your Sundays. I will see you all in tomorrow's market update. Woos.